Hello, children. Today we're gonna make a slab mug like this. And you're gonna practice this and make it for your parents and loved ones for Christmas. So what we're gonna start with is, actually we're not gonna start with the clay yet. What we're gonna start with is one of these, which is a cardboard tube. This is gonna be the mold that we use for our cup. And what I also need is a sheet of paper. I have plenty of paper up here. You're gonna take a sheet of paper and you're gonna fold it as tall as, or as wide as the cardboard tube. Then you're gonna wrap tightly the paper around the cardboard tube. And then tape it in place. Okay, step one done. Then take a slab. Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna
Wait,
look
can
at
I
that.
pass them?
No. We're gonna start by making our slab, and it needs to be at least as wide as our thing. So this is plenty wide, but it needs to be wide and like skinny and long. So I'm going to throw this down kind of at an angle and stretch this slab out a little bit. Then I'm going to put it on one of these boards. How thick are these boards?
Super thick.
This board, how thick is it?
0.12.
Thicker than a bowl of coffee.
Your Honor.
1/4 of an inch. Now, oh, I forgot. Let's do this real quick for the camera. A couple of things that make this mug a good mug. One, the handle is not cracked and it's well made, and it's comfortable to hold. Okay. Two, if you look at the walls, they're fairly thin. The slabs that you guys have been making are 3/8 of an inch thick. That's probably too thick for a good mug, because the thicker it is, the heavier it's going to be, and by the time you get it full of whatever delicious hot beverage you're going to drink, you're like doing curls to drink out of it because it's so heavy. Okay. So the last thing that makes this mug so nice is the thin rim. So that promotes good mouthfeel. It doesn't feel stupid when you're drinking from it. If your rim is too thick when you're drinking from it, it's going to dribble down your mouth onto your clothes, and it'll make your loved ones angry at you. So that's on there. This is a 1/4 inch thick. What we want our slab to be is a 1/4 inch. So the same thickness as this. So when we bring it over to the slab roller, I'm gonna set the size at 1/2 an inch. So before, we were setting it at 1/4 or 5/8 of an inch. For the mug, we want to set it at 1/2 an inch, so that our slab is a 1/4 inch total. Can you turn that for me? Backwards. Okay. Excellent. Oh, that's quite a large slab. Now that I've got this wonderful slab, what I'm going to do is rib the surface. That's going to remove the texture of the fabric from the slab roller, but this also is slightly compressing the surface of the slab, which makes it less likely to form cracks during forming and then later during firing. Now, if you want, what you can do is make this a little bit more fancy, and you can roll texture into the slab. So I pulled out some weeds and some leaves. Is this rough for you? Okay. Now I'm going to take a rolling pin and I'm just going to very lightly kind of press those in.
Beautiful.
And voila. Okay. Now I'm very carefully going to flip this. And then I'm gonna rib this side too, because I'm gonna get rid of that texture. But again, I'm also compressing the surface to help avoid cracks. Now I've got a fairly straight edge here, but I'm gonna go ahead and take my knife and cut a straight edge. If you don't feel like you can cut a straight edge without assistance, you can use a ruler to help you cut that edge straighter. I am not gonna need this whole slab. I'm gonna cut off a piece that's like that first and set that aside, because I'm gonna need that for my bottom. Now, cameraman, this is where you're gonna need to get a close-up. Can you come right here? Put the tube form and then line it up on the bottom, and then you're gonna very gently lift the slab up, and you're gonna roll the slab onto the cardboard form, keeping that edge even at the bottom. Where it's gonna overlap, so there's a little line right there, we're gonna cut just a little bit past that line, and I'm gonna pull this, oops, I've got a leaf stuck there. I'm gonna take this edge and push that down so it's kind of at a 45-degree angle. This leaf is gonna be a little bit in the way, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off. You do not have to pull the leaf away. It can stay on there and it'll fire, it'll be burned off during the firing, but it's a good idea to remove it. I'm going to score that and add a little bit of water. And then because I also know that that's where it's gonna attach, I'm gonna score that line as well. And then I'm gonna roll that together and overlap it. And where it overlaps, I'm gonna make sure that I press that down and get a really firm, solid connection. Now I've got a lot of excess here at the top, so I'm gonna trim that off with my fettling knife. And if the leaves that I rolled in it are getting in the way, I can just pull them off. Okay, now I've got a pretty good connection there. I feel good about that. I'm gonna score the bottom of this and put a little bit of water. And then I'm going to set that down on this extra piece of slab that I had. And it left a little bit of a ring of water, so I know where I need to score it. More water. And now I'm going to press this down. And what I'm going to do is grab it from both sides and press it down like that. If I push on the top, if I push on the cardboard itself, I'm likely to push it all the way through like a cookie cutter, and that'll ruin my bottom. So I'm gonna kind of just press it down like that. Then I'm gonna trim pretty close to the edge of the bottom there. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I'll probably do a little bit of cleanup after I'm done. And then I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna tap it just a few times to help encourage a really firm connection at the bottom. Then I'm going to take and weld over the bottom where it's attached. So again, it's compressing, score, slip, and compress to make sure that I get a good connection. Now, this is fine. Can I leave the cardboard tube in here?
No.
Why?
Why would you want to drink out of cardboard?
Well, you can't, it would burn away. But as clay dries, what does it do? It shrinks. And it cannot shrink around a rigid form. So we put that paper in, so now we can just pull out the cardboard tube. The paper can stay in there for now. It'll help hold the shape a little bit. And what I might need to do is wait until this gets leather hard to attach my handle. Actually, I think I can probably manage to attach it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let me show you how to make the handle. To make the handle, you're gonna take some of your scraps that are left over, and I'm gonna pull that off. Isn't that pretty? It's
Looks
lovely,
good.
right? Okay, I'm gonna just fold this over. And I'm gonna roll out a coil. I gotta wedge this.
Struggling.
Thank you, cameraman, for that assessment. What are we at on time?
10 minutes.
Dang it.
Almost 11.
Okay, we gotta hurry then. All right, so once we get our coil made, we need it to be a little bit thinner in the middle. So thin, thicker, thicker. And then I'm gonna slap it down on the table a couple of times. Then I'm gonna take a wet sponge and run it along the surface a couple of times. And I'm gonna drag my fingers along this to create some grooves. This makes a better feeling on the handle, and it gives the handle a little bit more life too. So this is obviously going to be too long for this little mug that I have. I'm going to cut part of it off, and then I'm going to pick it up and kind of test and check about how much I'm going to guess. I'm going to try and cut it a little bit longer than I think I'm going to need it, and then I'm going to bend it and check and see if I'm happy with that. That looks like it might be a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it just a little bit more. I'm going to pick a spot on my mug to attach the handle. I'm going to attach mine right here and right here at the bottom. Water. Then what I'm going to do, again, compressing clay makes it less likely to crack. So I'm going to thump both ends of the handle a little bit to help compress that clay. And then score both of those. And then while I'm supporting it on the inside, I'm going to press that on as firmly as I can without destroying the form. And then I'll pick it up and kind of check my curvature, and that looks pretty good. And then again, I'm going to hold it from the inside and press that on as well as I can. And then I'll go back with a stick later, once this is a little bit more leather hard, and really work on cleaning that edge up. I need to clean that seam up. I need to clean this seam up. And when I'm done, I'll pull the paper out of the inside. And if you look on the inside, can you see that? I need to get rid of this seam too. So again, I'm going to support it from the outside and then weld that line. Okay, so there we go. Mug, done, finished. Good. Why did you change? Okay, once you get the handle attached, you're gonna pull the paper out from the inside. And then you need to, wherever your seam was, you can see my seam here. I'm gonna hold this on the outside and make sure that I weld that seam on the inside really well. And then I still want the rim to be a little bit thinner, so I'm gonna take my fettling knife and make kind of a 45-ish degree angle along the inside rim so that it'll have nice mouthfeel when you're drinking from it. Okay, so there's still a lot of cleanup left on this, but I'll do that after I come back tomorrow when it's had a chance to become leather hard and stiff. Okay, that's it.